All right, it's Memorial Day weekend. It's about 8 o'clock. Not much more to look at for the forecast for the rest of the year. We'll still take a look at them. They're all very similar throughout the state once all the phenological seasons are over. I'm just going to pick Voorheesville and sort of illustrate the kind of things that we're dealing with. In the middle of an infection period, almost throughout the state, 30 hours of leaf wetness, not tons of rain, but just continual little amounts of rain. A quarter inch there, 16 inch there. It doesn't stop forever. It gets almost so cold in the average temperatures for Voorheesville and some other places and there's still a little bit of rain, just not enough leaf wetness to do the job, which means we're going to have to come in to the end of Memorial Day weekend and get something on. Now is not a bad time to apply around Sunday morning or Saturday night, depending how much rain you have. We're still getting a good bit of rain in Geneva. I'm just going to peek around and see if anything's really different. No, some places are still getting a good bit of leaf wetness on into Memorial Day. Ugh, gross. Not much, just a little bit here and there, just enough to keep the mud in the orchard and allow you to tear your orchards up if you want to try to spray them. Let's take a look, just sort of peeking around. Nothing really different or shocking. As we go further to the west, like in Williamson, the rain amounts increase and this last infection period is massive and goes on forever. And we'll talk a little bit about what to do about that, taking a little peek up in Peru, Northern Orchard. They're having a big one as well, but they're coming off of it just a little bit. Looks like they had less of an infection period because it was so cold going into the weekend. That still scares me, but it warms up enough, and all those 50 hours of leaf wetness that you're getting over or more than 50. I thought I was hyperbolizing. I'm not. It is just a lot in Chazy. Too much leaf wetness, and the Niagara area is even worse. Let's see what the Hudson Valley looks like. Are they just sitting on a lot of rain? And the only one that could be really different, no, about the same as the Capital District. Still 50 hours of leaf wetness. Coming in to Sunday morning with a lot of mess on the hands. Let's see what Riverhead looks like. How's that looking? It's not the best fork, but what are you going to do until we get that South Fork fixed? Yeah, everywhere. A lot of rain there. Coming into it, we're at a period of time where apple scab lesions could be forming on the cluster leaves and potentially making our fruit in a little bit of trouble. But we'll talk about that in a moment. But I want to just swap over, and I'm pretty sure fire blight is going to be easy given all this rain, even if we had blossoms. What's it say? Cold as a whistle. Warming up a little bit on Long Island towards the 29th, towards the start of June. That's not surprising. I think we're going to dodge the shoot blight bullet. What really gets nasty with fire blight is a lot of heat at the thinning time around Memorial Day, and we just don't have it. I just put on a scouting for shoot blight. I'm going to do a first blossom open date. Hudson Valley, same thing, really just hitting 63. It's going to be cool throughout the West Week. It's not a bad time even for shoot blight or blossom blight. I mean, I'm looking at the blossom blight tables, but for the most part, the thing likes water and heat, and we're not getting a lot of it in dead or injured tissue. So it's a good week to apply thinners without worrying about any fire blight issues overlapping. And I don't really think you need to worry about stressing to get the Prohex on yet. Worry about how hard it's going to be to thin the crop first. I'm going to pop over to the other side of the state. I don't think anyone's got anything at all on fire blight. Well, even looks like Appleton North says it still has flowers. It's nothing. It's all green. It's all at most yellow because it still says there's flowers on the tree. That's how you can get a moderate. It's so cold. No heat units accumulating whatsoever. Should be really good for the most part. I don't see any flowers in Geneva at all. Everything is sort of zeroed out. You're good to go. Focus on thinning. Worry about Prohex a little bit later if the trees start growing like mad and the heat goes up. We'll talk about that another time. I'm going to end this component and we're going to switch over to what do we got today? Present and slideshow. Okay, this is where we are in the fungal disease overview time period. We are at getting close to first cover, which is technically 10 days after petal fall. As I tell my lab group, in this scapocalypse season, it should be 5 to 7 days after petal fall, and I'm going to advise us all to keep tight covers until about 3rd or 4th. The 3rd through 5th cover is also where you can also knock out that apple blotch Marsanina type leaf spots as well. They're really critical in that period as well. So I hate to say it, as much as it is expensive to spray, let's keep those covers tight because you don't want to see things defoliating. You don't want to see pycnospores from cedar apple rust on your fruit, and you don't want to see a lot of powdery mildew. Same types of things. As we're moving into the thinning period in this cold, slow drying conditions, please avoid the cap tan. In this case, use the biopesticides, pick up some extra fire blight control, or use mancozeb with your single site fungicides. Same thing before. Has it been more than 5 days or 1.5 inches of rain? We don't even have to have a second if bullet because that's all we seem to have. Well, use a single site fungicide with a good bit of kickback activity. Any one of the things are good. You could use up one of your Axios applications if you have them now. If you're counting on getting some kickback, I would maybe use the Sevia Inspire Super. Anything that has a really big punch on apple scab. All of these are fairly good. If you have powdery mildew in there, definitely go for the Group 11s. A lot of these things have scab burning power. We're at a time as well where we'll be managing apple blotch, formerly known as Marsanina leaf spot, and also fly speck, sooty blotch, and rots. These things can come in quiescently, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Yep, last stand, use Captan. Well, guess what? We have so much rain, I would strike out Captan right now, and I would use and we're not in that scenario. It's never going to happen again. As we're moving into later in the week, if you're going full biological, I've been recommending Howler because of its, and Oso because of their naturally produced, organically approved, closest to true fungicide type AIs that we have found in them. There's some interesting studies that have been published. And for the most part, you might be in trouble with peaches because they have fludioxonil in season for peaches, but not in apples. And I don't think it's going to make a mess of post-harvest uses of Scholar as well if you use a bunch of Howler in season, mainly because the penicillium is not going to be there. It's going to be in your apple bin, if anything, or in the packing line, not in the orchard so much. I hope not. Of course, just use one of the liquids if you are going with a greater than. And if you don't have Howler and Oso and you're feeling bold, you can spray a biopesticide twice. It's not going to hurt anything. Now, one of the other questions we want to cover is what happens if you see cluster leaf lesions from petal fall to second cover? What do you do? These things are starting to show up, and I'm recommending using a single site combo fungicide, one that has the 2 groups in it, and both of the AIs stop respiration of fungi. It's basically the group 7 and 11 choke fungi out like cyanide. They don't do it to us because they can't bind to our mitochondrial electron transport chain, which is something that was probably taught to everyone enough. What's that called in high school biology? But anyway, it doesn't matter. The fungus can't breathe. And Luna Sensation and Marifon have both 7s and 11 in there, and they're double timing that electron transport chain and choking the fungi's ability to breathe out. Now, if you don't have one of those, or if you're like, oh, I better save some of this for post-harvest use, another option would be to first use a peroxide biopesticide, one such as Oxidate 5.0, and that's going to burn out the lesion. And then, maybe a little later, use a single site fungicide that stops the respiration, like 7 and 11. Like Scalia is a grade 7, Brovia, Miravis, all these things are grade 7. Flint Extra is one of our only remaining 11s left that isn't already bundled into one of the 7-11 combos. You might be asking, can you mix the peroxide biopesticide in single sites? I'm not entirely sure yet. I've got a bunch of trials in Geneva this year where I have been asked by the Oxidate group to mix them with single-site fungicides, and all seems to be going well. No injury, but I don't know if the peroxide is limiting the ability of these fancy fungicides to do their jobs. So in that case, I'm saying, maybe you do 2 sprays. You're like, 2 sprays? That's insane. You know what's really insane? Is leaf lesions with apple scab. That could cause the whole crop to be lost. So 2 sprays isn't anywhere near as bad as 4% apple scab at harvest. I mean, that would be even more tragic. What do we got? Here's all the different fungicides again. Moving away from Scalin Vanguard. I'm really pushing these Respiration inhibitors, group 11s. Oh, we have gem as well. I haven't tested it much, but it is labeled for apples and does the job, and it's allowed on Long Island. Long Island looks like they have a mess of rain that they're coming in through as well. Miravis and Provia, 2 hammers. Tesseris is good. It's great only because it's not on Long Island. Moving away from the DMIs, I think we're beating rust now. I'm a little concerned of active lesions needing to be choked out from breathing. And so Axios, I'm not sure how that works. Pretty reasonable on apple, scab, and powdery mildew. Good time to put that in there if you're not seeing leaf lesions. Now, the other thing that we should be concerned about as at petal fall is the beginning of the magic of fly speck, sooty blotch, bitter rot, black and white rot. These things can cause latent infections from bloom to early fruit development. If we get a lot of rain at petal fall, like now, we could be in trouble. Later, we're going to see them with pre-harvest rains and wounding with missed herbicides and birds and maybe even the stink bug or anything else that manages to bloom later on. But it's never getting hot enough for insects to cause problems, and you still can see it post-harvest. The other things I wanted to bring up first is I'm a little concerned of something called moldy core, fungal colonization of the seed coat, latent infections from bloom to fruit development. The only time we've ever seen this stuff is in really wet petal falls, like now. It's gross. It's like weird fungi that aren't apple scab, alternaria, and some other things, maybe even a little bit of penicillium. It's gross, but it's not a health concern. It doesn't matter if biologically it's not a health concern. If the marketer cuts open a fruit and sees that in there, they're going to be terrified. Yeah, Botrysphaeria, Cladosporium, this causes cankers and other fruit rots, alternaria, some junk fungi. Cladosporium is kind of like scab, same type of fungus that's like scab, except it's in your bathtub as well at home, or on pecans and other weird things, and some penicillium as well. It's really gross. They become apparent post-harvest. They'll happen now. That's why I'm like always pushing all those single sites to later in the season, because no one wants to see this. I don't want to be teaching class, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're asking me to look at this, and I'm like, oh, it's moldy core. We're all lost. And all the loads get rejected, and everyone is sad. I'm sad, you're sad, we're all sad. What about callus core? This can also happen in really wet seasons where we have a lot of water during early fruit development sometimes. It's undifferentiated callus tissue. I've only seen it a couple of times in Fuji, and I've seen it in snapdragon as well. I put it under the microscope. It's firm crystalline tissue, soft, not soft like fungal mycelium. It's not a health concern, no off flavor. This is just callus type tissues. I popped up a German paper and was looking at it like, oh, that's what we got. We have callus tissue around the seed coat. It's not even that gross. It looks kind of pretty. And it's a physiological problem that's often mistaken for moldy core in certain varieties. Now, all this means that if you have it, some marketer will tell you you've got moldy core and it's wrecked, and they'll probably send you a fact sheet from another university that has it mislabeled. I think Carrie Peter has recently fixed the issue that was stuck in an old version of the PSU webpage, and if anything, we're using her awesome picture right here of the real moldy core, and which is really great. And yeah, Carrie does a great job, and like all of us, there are old things lying around in the guidelines and on the web pages that we can't always get rid of, and people will grab them and mistakenly cause us trouble. All right, with that, stay strong. Watch for leaf lesions on the cluster leaves. If you see them, you know what to do. Burn them out. No fungi should be allowed to breathe in your orchard on Memorial Day. All right, I will see you midweek.